Yes, we are continuing to enjoy the about to see the ride live coverage. Gio Benitez, along with Katie Coleman, our NASA astronaut, and Hakeem Olasey for more. Our favorite astroscientist, by the way, physicist. Gio, let's start with you. The hold has been lifted. We're looking at what, less than 5 minutes now? There we go. 6 minutes. T-minus 6 minutes.
Yeah, Kira, you and I have covered a few of these launches together, and I think you know by now, this is when I start getting very excited, right? When you start approaching those 5 minutes, the T-minus 5 minutes, we are really getting ready for this launch. We know that Mission Control already did its go, no-go poll. That's basically when they ask the room, is it a go or is it not a go? And everyone said it's a go for launch. And so that is now what's happening. That is why that clock is moving. And now we are going to be approaching this launch very, very quickly now. T-minus 5 minutes there, 5.5 minutes before William Shatner makes history. And this crew aboard that space capsule, they're going to be able to see something that very few humans have seen, less than 600 total. In fact, by the time they get back down, we're going to be looking at 597 humans in space since we started human space flight. So it's pretty remarkable. And we have one of those humans right here with us, Katie Coleman, which is just extraordinary. And it's so great that we are able to get her insight here.
Absolutely. We got Katie with us, our favorite astronaut, and also Hakeem Olasey, our astrophysicist that always makes science exciting for us with his energy and his background. It's the perfect trio as we watch these live pictures of this space launch and history about to be made, as it's the first to the future here for William Shatner. Mission Control, live pictures now. All right, T-minus 4.5 minutes. Katie, put us in the mindset when you were in the shuttle strapped in. What's happening in these final minutes?
Well, my heart is beating actually just watching the clock tick down for these folks, actually. Being in the seat itself, you are, listening. There's sort of different things that kind of keep you calm, the routine that you've practiced so many times, different kinds of comm checks and things like that. But especially on that very first launch, I think there's a part of us that each of us that finds it hard to believe that humans could really leave this planet, and realizing that you are about to do that. And for my first launch, we actually had 7 delays over 30 days. This was, there's people in my family who still haven't forgiven me for that. And so I think it made that moment of actually launching so much more unbelievable. And, even watching them, I mean, these are humans, and I think being inside a spaceship, there's something that you just feel, that you realize how hard it is for people to leave this planet, and you just want everything to be going right.
But those delays are important. Those hold patterns are necessary because there are so many elements that you have to monitor from Mission Control to make sure this is going to be a safe flight. Right, Katie?
It takes some patience, but it takes everything we have to make it as safe as it can be. Spaceflight is not safe, right? But it is as safe as we can make it. And that takes some patience, and it's not as hard on the crew, I think, as it is on the families and the people watching. The crew knows that, they've been working with these folks for a long time, and they know that, they've decided they want to be there. They know that they're going to go when the time is right and not earlier. There's a certain amount of trust that has to be there, and I'm sure it is, between this crew and the Blue Origin team.
Hakeem, you have watched many of these launches. You have witnessed the civil and now the private launches. T-minus 2:24 now, and what's going through your mind? I'm sure your heart is pumping too.
It absolutely is. Safety is always a major concern, and you never want to take this for granted. But I'm also in awe. I'm also in awe of our technological abilities, our innovation abilities. We often say that necessity is the mother of invention, but there are actually many mothers of invention. Economy is one, but also very basic research. When you're pushing the boundaries, you create new technologies that tend to always work to benefit humanity. And that's exactly what's been happening here. We have these private companies that have now pushed the boundary for the purpose of making the space economy more accessible and more available to all of us. But then at the same time, there are still new innovations to come. There's new technologies to come. And one of the things that we're looking at now is just keeping people alive in space. Space is hostile to life. In order to survive, you have to be protected. And the longer you're in space, the more important that becomes. And so we have aspirations of having bases on the moon, bases on Mars that are also basically very hostile space environments. So this is a stepping stone, right? We're seeing it happening one step at a time, and hopefully we're going to get there successfully.
T-minus 57 seconds. You're going to love this. William Shatner actually retweeted our coverage saying, "Are you interrupting the soaps? People aren't going to like that." Oh, yes, they are when they see the drama of William Shatner making history. We are going to join the network now. Stand by. T-minus 41 seconds. And hello, everyone. I'm Kira Phillips. You are watching live coverage. T-minus 7 seconds as Blue Origin's New Shepard rocket is about to make history.
She is on her space with the second human spaceflight crew. What a launch. We are on our way to Max Q, the first milestone here on its flight to space. Obviously, with the altimeter at the base of the screen, as well as the speedometer, they are gaining speed on their climb to space. We have confirmed max Q. This is when the aerodynamic stresses on the vehicle were at their maximum. Thank you again, everybody, for joining us live for New Shepard's second human flight with Audrey Powers, William Shatner, our customers Glenn DeVries and Chris Bosshausen on board. They are well on their way to space. So far, a nominal flight, a clean burn on our Blue Engine 3. New Shepard giving them a beautiful flight to space this morning. The rocket is climbing towards an altitude. We're aiming just over the Kármán line, the internationally recognized line of space of 100 kilometers. That is about 328,000 feet. And a gorgeous view down the rocket. And now we've had main engine cut off. The BE-3 engine has shut off. And in just a moment, we're going to separate the capsule from the booster. And at that point, our astronauts will have the opportunity to get out of their harnesses and enjoy the beauties of zero G. Let's wait to listen. And there you can see a clean separation between the capsule and the booster. And there you can see the capsule from the top of the booster. They are continuing their ascent over the Kármán line. You'll know when they hit apogee when the speed hits 0. And there they are, over 328,000 feet, over 100 kilometers. Welcome to space. The newest astronauts on board our crew capsule. And there they are. They have just about hit their apogee at about 351,000 feet. And while we don't have apogee, I can just imagine, Jackie, they are having the time of their lives.
And history has been made. You are watching live coverage right now, 2,200 miles per hour. The New Shepard blasted off into the final frontier, making history. This rocket for the second time now. With us on our special coverage, Katie Coleman, ABC News contributor, former NASA astronaut, our Gio Benitez there on the ground at the launch site, our transportation correspondent, also Hakeem Oluseyi, our astrophysicist. Gio, let's start with you. Hearts were beating, they are floating, and we are watching it live. History is made.
History is made, and I got to tell you, we were all just watching so closely because I was thinking about what could possibly be going through William Shatner's mind right now as he lifted off. We felt the rumble here as it lifted off and just sped off into space. And so imagine what that must feel like on that spaceship itself. So he's already in space, probably weightless right now at this moment, and we are waiting now for the rocket to return back because the rocket will be returning and it will land upright. Again, that is fully automated. It is run by a computer. And once that happens, then we will start seeing the capsule return. Parachutes will deploy and it will land gently in the desert here in West Texas, not too far from here. We'll be able to see that capsule also come down here with those parachutes. It's pretty extraordinary. There we go. Now we are seeing the rocket come down. So that booster's coming down. Let's go ahead and take that live shot here because you will be able to see it. You're seeing it right now. And it's just unbelievable how it lands on the launch pad, completely automated, upright.
Katie, Gio, thanks so much. Katie, quite a difference from what you experienced as a NASA astronaut. The technology, so much different here, but the feeling, so much the same.
Well, I can only imagine how they feel. I mean, they've got those big, giant windows, and it is about, and that actually came late to us up on the space station to have really big windows to look at the Earth. And I think it makes it when you can really just sort of be part of the window and be part of the view, they are seeing our planet. And especially, the Glenn and Chris, who both, their missions here on Earth have to do with, understanding our planet and understanding people. I think it's amazing for them to get to have that view. It's such a continuation of their mission. And for Chris, who launches small satellites, it's, he himself has been launched. And now we're looking live at the booster landing. I mean, when you think about it, it seems like it makes sense that you could have a computer figure out, am I too low, am I too high, a little left, a little right? But when it really happens right in front of you, I can only imagine what Gio and Gina are thinking right now.
And Hakeem, just as an astrophysicist, this booster landing and how it can just hit that target so perfectly, it's phenomenal to watch.
It is remarkable. I have seen many launches of many rockets, from small sounding rockets up to the big ones. And I've never seen one of these land, a booster land before, but just seeing it here on the television screen blows my mind. I mean, we have come so far in such a short time to be able to do this. And you know, I just can't wait until the access does become something like commercial aircraft flying. Right now, you know, there's a lot of feedback about how, yeah, you know, it's restricted to those who are wealthy. But again, you know, if you look at the history of advanced technologies, airplanes started that way, automobiles started that way in some regards. So, you know, it's just a matter of time, right? It's just a matter of time, hopefully. But everything we're seeing is incredibly encouraging. And I just have to say, they're not safely on the ground yet, so I'm holding off my celebration until that time, because as a researcher, things can go wrong at any point.
But we can see the capsule right now. Those chutes have opened up. Katie, this is the part. It's that slow descent. It's the G-force. It's crossing your fingers that you come down safely, exit the Earth's atmosphere there, and bring it down. And that's when you do, as Hakeem mentions, take that just final sigh of release that you have made it. But this is a crucial time right now as we watch the capsule.
Exactly. On the parachutes, you saw that drogue chute come out, and that's when they're actually having the maximum G's there. And when that drogue chute comes out, specially designed, you know, come out to be high speed, that's when your capsule sort of just stops. And in the case of this capsule, it's heavier than the Soyuz capsule that I landed in, and so it's actually quite stable. Ours was spinning and twisting and swinging. And then when you see those main chutes come out, so they're on the big blue chutes, all three of them there, and now they're coming in for a landing. They're slowing down more and more and more all the time. And right as they're approaching the surface, you know, they've got literally radar altimeters, just like when a policeman is trying to figure out, you know, how fast you're going, looking down at the ground. And when they get close, there's going to be retro rockets that fire. Looks kind of messy, like, oh, a lot of dust, but it's actually going to slow them down, so it's a really gentle landing. Here it comes. Oh, it's so exciting to see. Looks messy, but it looks like it happened just like the way it's supposed to.
And we're waiting for that, the dust to clear. Cannot wait to hear from William Shatner and the crew. He actually tweeted moments ago, "I do not know what I may appear to the world, but to myself I seem to have been only like a boy playing on the seashore, diverting myself in and now and then, finding a smoother pebble or a prettier shell than ordinary, whilst the great ocean of truth lay all undiscovered before me." Wow. Little bit of poetry there from William Shatner. Not surprised. He has been taking this to heart. He has abandoned, Hakeem, the USS Enterprise, and officially made it to space now. This was no TV show. This was the real deal. I know Star Trek fans like you have been watching closely. He even tweeted yesterday about our coverage here on ABC saying, "Are you interrupting the soaps? People aren't going to like that." But I think our viewers are going to love this drama and the way it played out as we saw him take off and make history as the oldest astronaut to go into space at the age of 90. That crew now landing safely there outside of Texas. Cannot wait to watch them walk out of that capsule and hear now the rest of the story, as we like to say, Hakeem.
Yes, you know, Captain Kirk returning to space. I mean, this is like the next Star Trek movie, only this is real life.
The script writes itself.
You know, he just keeps coming back over and over and over again in a new form every time. So I think you know, having him on this particular mission brings attention to it, right? And bringing attention to missions like this, bring attention to the whole enterprise of STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, and what that does for our nation and what that does for individual communities and lives. Everyone can participate in STEM. So to the degree that anyone is inspired by this particular mission, right, those are our innovators of tomorrow.
Katie, I know you want to add to that because we have watched the civil missions for years. This is the private space mission. And it does. It opens up the doors. If we look at this and look into the future, I mean, individuals like Hakeem, astrophysicists, astronomers, scientists of all types, if able to do so, if invited, or if you have the funding to do it, this opens the doors not only to what our imaginations, but just what can happen with regard to inventions, discovery, research. It's pretty incredible when you think about the future here and what this means going forward.
Well, I couldn't agree more. And the fact that it's real people that put these things together, and I think mission is the operative word here. That I think Jeff Bezos is one of the people who is helping to pave the way to space. You know, their motto, gradatum ferociter, step by step, ferociously. They are achieving these goals of, I mean, they have just, brought people to space for the second time on this mission. The fact that there's 4 very different humans there. One, William Shatner, who sparked our imaginations with Star Trek, and then we've got Glenn DeVries, who is somebody who has been a pathfinder in healthcare, understanding what it is for, what do we need in order to have healthcare in a global way, and how to make it practical and how to make it work, and so for him to be able to see the whole population, everybody except the 4 of them and the folks on the space station and the Chinese space station. I mean, that's actually amazing to know that you are one of the few people up there. And I think it gives you a different point of view. And we haven't talked about Audrey. I mean, she is the head of mission and flight operations at Blue Origin. She has been part of making this mission, not today's mission, but the mission of bringing people to space happen. And for her to have this experience, I imagine she's going to have some very different perspectives on what it means as we go forward, and who else needs to go and see that view.
You know, you make a great point, Katie. I know we've been talking so much about William Shatner and just the twist here from Captain Kirk to real-life astronaut now and heading into space. But, we should point out that Audrey, Chris, and Glenn were a part of this crew as well, and all added their expertise and excitement to this adventure. Let's talk a little bit about the other members of the crew. You mentioned Audrey. We should talk about Chris and Glenn, too, and what they have founded and their background and why this flight has meant so much to them.
Well, Audrey is, for me, of course, as a woman scientist and engineer, particularly, I'm so glad she's there to be an example for so many women and girls that are thinking, I might have some of these solutions, but I don't know if it feels like me. And then they see Audrey Powers, leading, being a leader on this flight, certainly a leader at Blue Origin, and then on the mission itself, and yet she's just seems like this regular person, and I think that's a really valuable viewpoint to be sharing with so many. I'll look at I think that is their number 7, knocking on the windows, making sure everybody is okay. Actually, she's just making sure everybody is fine there. They're checking out the landing and making sure everybody's in good shape after landing there. But I also wanted to bring up Chris Buschhausen, where he has a company, Planet Labs, where the mission is to photograph the Earth every single day. His small satellites map the Earth, sending us information that is helping us solve the challenges of climate change and what's really happening with the Earth. And so to leave the Earth and see that view himself, it's so much a continuation of that mission. And of course, we've talked about William Shatner and his work to lead the way. And I think that that's really meaningful. They do this so fast. It's amazing to watch them. They're really ready to open the doors there. But the way that art and storytelling, I mean, if it wasn't for these stories, would we be here today? I don't know. And that's why we really, as much as I talk about STEM storytelling, whether it's through art or music or writing, storytelling is actually the way to build these teams.
And we are telling the story right here and unfolding it chapter by chapter live on ABC as we are about to see the members of the crew, Audrey and Chris and Glenn DeVries. We didn't get a chance to talk about. We can go into that a little bit more. Chief Executive and co-founder of Metadata Solutions, a company that built software for numerous clinical trials. And then, of course, William Shatner. They are getting ready to open up, Katie, right? And they looked in the windows to make sure everybody was okay. They gave the thumbs up. It looks like everyone's in good shape. But as they once again open up the hatch here, what happens next? Do they, of course, they're going to be excited. Their hearts are probably pumping. They want to wave and smile, let everyone know everything's good. But they do have to go through some checks just to make sure everything's all right, correct?
I believe they have a routine where they basically check in and have a standard set of things that they answer. I thought it was pretty neat when we first saw people approaching the capsule. We didn't really see the vehicles that they came from. Just, basically one person running up to the capsule, looking at all the windows. It's almost like they discovered it there in the desert. And boy, it looks like Jeff Bezos there. I guess he's allowed to bang on the windows.
Of course he is. He's the one that made this all happen, right? And he's the one that demonstrated firsthand on that first flight that he trusted this technology, this adventure with his own life. And now, thrilled to see that flight number 2 has happened and made history. Hakeem, it really does open up the door for so many others to participate now. If you have the funds, if you have the support, who knows what will happen next? Oh, you can hear the screaming and the cheers as they get ready to open up here. But this really is an amazing time in history when you think about the future, Hakeem.
It certainly is. What we're seeing is it's almost an entertainment show of showing what can be done, right? It hasn't really settled down into the actual model that's going to take us into the future. We have all of the basics are worked out now, right? We have the boosters that are not expendable anymore. They are reusable. That brings their costs down. We also have all these different models of space access. We have a space plane, we have this suborbital rocket, and we have our orbital missions that SpaceX provides. So we're really looking at, just as you said, just as Katie said, the Blue Origin motto is step by step, right? And that's exactly what's going on. And the wonderful thing about this, and the thing that concerns all of us, is the safety factor. Even though we haven't been putting humans in space at the rate we did in the Apollo era, we have been putting machines in space and robots in space. And we've been exploring our solar system and our universe using those robots. But again, putting a human on the moon, putting a human on Mars, they can do so much more in such a short amount of time. So working out the safety issues and making access to space very safe is a major step forward.
Let's get ready to listen in. The mics are up. Bezos is opening up the hatch. Let's listen in and see if we can hear.
Come on up here, guys.
There's Audrey Powers, a big hug from her sister.
Captain Kirk himself, the great William Shatner.
Our customer, Chris Bosshausen, the first full Australian citizen to go to space and back. And Glenn DeVries.
How was it? Oh, my God.
Some big hugs from their loved ones.
In a way, it's indescribable.
Gio Benitez, you're not far. Oh, wait, we got Jeff. Oh, let's listen in to William Shatner and Jeff Bezos.
What you thought, it happened so quickly. You know what the impression I had that I never expected to have is you shooting up.
Oh my God.
Give me this used guy.
Come here. I want one. I want to hear this. Here. You want a little of this? Okay. Oh my God.
The champagne showers have begun. Smiles all around. William Shatner taking in the moment clearly.
What you have. If everybody in the world needs to do this. Everybody in the world needs to see it. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable. I mean, you know, the little things of weightlessness. But to see the blue cover go whoop by, and now you're staring into blackness. That's the thing. The covering of blue, this sheet, this blanket, this comforter of blue that we have around us. We think, oh, that's blue sky. And then suddenly you shoot through it all of a sudden, as though you whip off a sheet off you when you're asleep, and you're looking into blackness, into black ugliness. And you look down, there's the blue down there, and the black up there, and it's just, there is Mother and Earth and comfort, and is there death? I don't know. Is that death? Is that the way death is? Whoop, and it's gone. Jesus. It was so moving to me. This experience has been something unbelievable. You see, yeah, you know, weightless, my stomach went up, and I thought, God, this is so weird. But not as weird as the covering of blue. This is what I never expected. Oh, it's one thing to say, oh, the sky and the thing and the fragile thing. It's all true. But what isn't true, what is unknown until you do it, is there's this pillow, there's this soft blue. Look at the beauty of that color. And it's so thin. And you're through it in an instant. It's how thick is it? We know.
I mean, the atmosphere.
Is it a mile? 2 miles?
I mean, it depends on how you measure, because it thins out, but maybe 50 miles. Not even.
But you're going 2,000 miles an hour. So you're through 50 miles, whatever the mathematics
fast.
are.
Yeah, really
you know,
fast.
it's like a beat, and suddenly you're through the blue. And you're into black. And you're into, you know, it's mysterious and galaxies and things. But what you see is black. And what you see down there is light. And that's the difference. And not to have this, you have done something. I mean, whatever those other guys are doing, what isn't, I don't know about that. What you have given me is the most profound experience I can imagine. I'm so filled with emotion about what just happened. It's extraordinary. Extraordinary. I hope I never recover from this. I hope that I can maintain what I feel now. I don't want to lose it. It's so much larger than me and life. And it hasn't got anything to do with the little green planet, the blue orb, it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the enormity and the quickness and the suddenness of life and death. And oh my God. It's something.
It's so beautiful.
Beautiful, yes, beautiful in its way, but...
No, I mean your words.
Oh, my words.
It's just amazing.
I don't know. I can't even begin to express what I would love to do is to communicate as much as possible the jeopardy, the moment you see how the vulnerability of everything. It's so small. This air, which is keeping us alive, is thinner than your skin. It's a sliver. It's immeasurably small when you think in terms of the universe. It's negligible. This air. Mars doesn't have it.
Right there.
Nothing. I mean, this, and when you think carbon dioxide changed to oxygen, and what is it, 20% at some that level that sustains our life? It's so thin to dirty it. I mean, that's another whole
And you
subject.
shoot through, what you were saying about shooting through it so fast.
So quickly, 50 miles.
Then you're just in blackness.
You're in death.
Yeah.
The moment
This is life.
This is life, and that's death. And it's in an instant, you go, wow, that's death. That's what I saw.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And wow.
I am overwhelmed. I have no idea. You know, we were talking earlier before going, well, you know, it's going to be different. It's going to, yeah, it's going to, and you have whatever that phrase is you have, that you have a different view of things. It doesn't begin to explain, to describe what for me. I mean, everybody's going to, but. And this is now the commercial. Everybody, it would be so important for everybody to have that experience through one means or another. I mean, maybe you could put it on 3D and wear the goggles and have that experience. I mean, that certainly is a technical possibility. But what you need also, we're lying there and I'm thinking, listen, one delay after another delay, we're lying there, and I think, how do I feel? And I'm thinking, you know, I'm a little jittery here. And when they move the pins, oh, there's something in the engine. They found an anomaly in the engine. They found an anomaly in the engine. We're going to hold a little longer. Oh, you're going to hold a little longer. And I feel this, you know, the stomach, the biome inside. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm thinking I'm a little nervous here. Another delay, I'm a little more nervous. And then the thing starts. By the way, the simulation is, they have to be warned. It's only a simulation. Everything else is much more
Doesn't capture
the and besides which, the jeopardy. Bang! This thing hits. You go, no, that wasn't anything like the simulation.
The G-force.
The G-force. And just tell me, what's going to happen to me? Am I going to be able to survive the G-forces? You feel that? Am I going to survive it?
Yeah.
And then I think, good Lord, that. You know, just getting up the bloody gantry was enough. Oh my God, what an experience! What? Nothing.
It looked like you had a moment of camaraderie with your.
Oh, we all
crewmates
hugged each
up
other.
there and...
You know, you share. It's like being in battle together, really. And there is this bonding of being in battle, but you're also embattled inside yourself. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
I have had an experience.
We're going to pin you guys now. Woo!
Okay. All right.
Okay, besides the historic moment that happened here and the safe landing, what you've just witnessed and heard from William Shatner was just so remarkable as the other members of the crew are having their champagne showers and taking pictures and selfies and hugging and cheering. There is William Shatner having an emotional, spiritual, and intellectual moment, just thinking about everything that just happened to him at the age of 90. His wisdom, his life, the years he has lived just came forward right there in front of all of us from his heart as he was in tears, emotional, hugging Jeff Bezos. Hakeem and Katie, that was a moment, unrehearsed moment, where we don't even know if he knew he was being recorded, that we were taking it live and hearing his feelings for the very first time as he got so emotional and so deep about what he experienced. Katie, it seems like he was so moved by the colors. He kept talking about the color blue and how it whipped past him so quickly, and the next thing he knew, he was in dark. And then he starts talking about that was life, and is this death? And I mean, he went into this very profound moment of what he just witnessed. It was quite remarkable.
It was really wonderful to listen to. I think, they're doing the astronaut pinning right now.
Oh, well, go ahead. Tell us about the astronaut pinning, and then we can talk about Shatner and his amazing
So they're getting
there.
their wings, I believe. And maybe it's their pin. But basically, I think they'll maybe get wings later. But this is a pin that symbolizes that they have been to space. And in some ways, after it happens, it helps to have something like that to kind of bring you back, to some of the memories that William Shatner just shared with us, some of the feelings, in sort of telling everyone about it all the time after this. Sometimes it can start to feel like it happened to a different person, and that is their wings there. And so I think these remind them of what they have just accomplished together and what they've been a part of.
I never wanted to tell
We have
him.
a spare, don't worry.
Here we go. Let's listen to William Shatner for a moment.
for Bill real quick. Do you think you can unbend that?
I was going to try.
That's all right, guys.
No, we'll get it.
Let's pretend I didn't.
Wow,
do it.
good job.
Look at her.
Perfect.
Did she have it?
She did.
Clutch.
So I think it's a pin,
This is the hardest part of the mission.
not wings.
Thank you.
Bill, you're amazing. You're an amazing person.
I always thought they got wings, but it looks like a pin
You're so deserving of this.
to me.
You've worked
Let
so
me
hard in this
let me try
program.
texting
All your
someone
life,
real quick.
you've been dreaming of this.
Isn't that true? What a gift.
Sorry, these things are tricky. I can see. I have more sympathy for Jeff Ashby now. Poor guy. He had to do it in front of a big crowd. It's just that the Nomex is very tough.
Oh, that's true.
It's like really fights you. There we go. I almost have it.
There we go. I heard it. I heard it.
That's snap.
Congratulations.
Jeff. Thanks so much.
Okay, guys, we have 4 astronauts before you.
That was absolutely amazing, as Jeff said.
And they have been pinned officially, different from the kind of pinning that we experienced in college, Katie and Hakeem, but no doubt a very special moment, historic moment. Katie, I know you were texting your folks to find out exactly what the pin is. Let us know if you get a text back, because we'd love to know more about the little ceremony we just saw there. But just back to William Shatner and what we just witnessed and the things he was saying, it was so heavy. He truly had an awakening, and probably a lot of that is just the fact that he's 90 and he's just thinking about his life, and clearly telling Jeff Bezos that was the most remarkable thing that he's ever been able to do. And he got so emotional and was so detailed in what he felt and experienced, and even bringing up the question, oh my gosh, is this death? Is this what happens, when you meet your maker? It was really a beautiful and raw moment.
I thought it was beautiful, and just saying everybody in the world needs to do this. Everybody in the world needs to see this. And it was interesting to me, we've got these different ways to go to space, so to speak. And you'd think that, well, you've either gone or you haven't, and now they have their pins. But by going on this trip and with those windows, they're actually going through the layers of the atmosphere slower than we do in the space shuttle or in the Soyuz rocket, because we're going further, so we're going faster. And so I think that they travel through those layers of colors that you think of in that sort of sunset over the Earth. They're going through those layers, the layer blue of the atmosphere, and then the black coming. They're doing that slower, and he talked about, it was just this sort of beautiful, soft blue that he just felt like was just all around him, and then suddenly it was black. And I think when we go, it happens so fast. It's a really quick transition. We don't get to really experience being in that moment.
Well, he sure did, and what a no doubt unique and beautiful experience for him. Gio, we have connected once again with you there, not far from where the landing took place. It was pretty incredible to listen what Shatner said, talking about how he couldn't even begin to express what he was feeling, the vulnerability of everything he said, that he feels like he just realized what life and death is or could be. He got so emotional, hugged Jeff Bezos, said, "You have given me the most profound experience. I'm so filled with emotion. I don't even know how to express myself." His reaction, it was so raw, it was so real. We don't even know if he realized he was live with us here on ABC, but so different as the other members of the crew were popping champagne and cheering and taking pictures. Shatner was just sort of standing there, just reveling in this moment like he couldn't believe what just happened, Gio.
And you know, Kira, one of my favorite lines was when he just said, "I hope I never recover from it." Right? Because that's perhaps how we would all feel if we're going up there and experiencing this and seeing the Earth that way, seeing that thin layer of atmosphere and seeing all of that darkness as you look out into space and also look down onto this gem of a planet. I love, he always called it a gem of a planet, but we're seeing those images there as they were being pinned. These are the Blue Origin pins. So here's the difference, okay? The FAA gives astronauts their wings, but in the case of private space travel, where you're talking about civilians going into space, now those civilians will have to apply to the FAA for their official wings. So what they're getting right now are the Blue Origin. It's sort of just a ceremonial pin just to signify that they went into space past that Kármán line at 62 miles above the Earth's surface with Blue Origin. So now, no doubt about it, they will apply, I'm sure, to the FAA for their official astronaut wings. But now we're looking at 597 people who have gone into space and experienced that view. Still less than 600 humans who have been out there into space and seen what that was like and felt what that is like in weightlessness for so long, Kira.
Once again, bringing up the moment of launch, the moment of touchdown. Hakeem, William Shatner saying, "This was larger than me and life." As an astrophysicist, you have to love that line.
Oh, I absolutely do. You know, travel gives people perspective. I didn't have a perspective, well, rather my perspective on the U.S. changed when I traveled to other countries. Now imagine leaving the planet and looking down. That's what William Shatner just experienced. And he also spoke of experiencing both space and the Earth's atmosphere in a different way than he ever had before. So as a scientist who studies this stuff, I'm well aware of how super thin the Earth's atmosphere is, but not just that. When we look around our solar system and when we look around the galaxy, what we see is that where atmospheres occur, they're typically incredibly thick, or they're just completely absent or nearly absent. But here on Earth, we have a very special situation where we have a very, very thin atmosphere that's sufficient enough to protect us, and on top of that, an incredibly strong magnetic field to protect us. So as a civilization here on Earth, we have what few civilizations or what few life forms on other planets may have, and that is a sky that we can look through and see that there is a universe beyond. That's how thin it is. But that thinness is also its fragility that he mentioned, but it is also our hope. Because it is so thin and so minimal, we can actually engineer the atmosphere to optimize it for our benefit. We haven't been doing that. We've just been pursuing our lives and then creating emergencies like global climate change, acid rain, the hole in the ozone layer. But as more people see our Earth for what it is and come to value it for what it is, I'm sure we're going to take better care of our atmosphere and better care of our Earth. It's just a matter of having that understanding and that appreciation, because he is absolutely right. Beyond our atmosphere is death, and it takes great technological know-how to keep humans alive out there. But here on Earth, even after a giant meteorite impact, this is the best place in the universe for us.
Yeah, it was pretty powerful when in tears and emotional, William Shatner looked at Jeff Bezos and said, there I was up in space, and I looked down and thought to myself, there is life, and then I looked up and said, wow, and this is death? That's what I saw. It was powerful, not just a moment in history here, but a spiritual awakening, clearly, for William Shatner. Hakeem, Katie, Gio, how fun to be on this ride with all of you. We are going to continue our coverage of this historic moment as Blue Origin's New Shepard touches down safely. The crew also touching us all emotionally and turns another chapter in the history book.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.